This is Grimm Grinner on all channels.
Welcome to the waste.
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 Welcome to the waste. Welcome to the waste.
Welcome to the waste.
Welcome to the waste.
Welcome to the wastes. Good afternoon, Wasteland. This is Grimm Grinner on all channels. Now, I might sound a bit different during today's broadcast due to the fact that I'm kind of transmitting while I cook today. I recently was able to trade out at a farm encampment for some really fresh veggies, and at the recommendation of Mazzy, I'm doing a bit of a cooking show, I guess. Now, I am well aware that if you're hearing this, you're doing exactly that. Hearing, not seeing any of what I'm doing. So I'll try to be as descriptive as possible as I take you through the process of what I'm making today. I will also have some updates to get to as I do this, so while things cook, I'll be shouting those out too. In the meantime, I guess join me while I make my own version of what used to be called the plot hook potatoes, so named for the specialty dish of that nerdy restaurant from the old world. So for this recipe, you need some potatoes, of course, and whatever ideally green veggies you can chop and toss in. Stuff like spinach, kale, Brussels sprouts, that kind of stuff. And if you're someone who eats like meat and stuff, you can add some, chopped chicken or whatever animal you have to the mix. I just recommend cooking that separately. I'm going with just veg today since I'm cooking enough for a couple of us here at the bunker. Along with those veggies, you want to try and get your hands on some other stuff if at all possible. Namely garlic, butter, and or cooking oil, and a selection of powdered spices. Now, these can all be hard to come by, but if you hit up the right outposts, you might be able to get most of what you need, and can potentially scavenge the rest. I know a lot of washed out old shop marts still have some sealed seasoning stuff, since I think very few people scavenge that at all. I may also know of a few smaller outposts that have managed to set up greenhouses for growing some of the stuff to make those spices, so if you're really having trouble, I can get some coordinates on a board somewhere near them, or transmit those out if you can catch me on a channel. Speaking of outposts, I've been hearing about a fair amount of activity going on out at the Pirate Shack. Sounds like there's been some nasty types shaking down travelers, cutting through the area, and taking a bigger cut if they think you're planning on stopping in at the outpost itself. Not sure what the change in attitude is about, but it might be a safer bet to not rely on that spot unless you've got the gear and the scrap to handle yourself with those thugs. But back to cooking for now. So, you want to try and chop everything up as much as you can beforehand. Potatoes, sprouts, the bigger leafy veggies, and the garlic. Chop that shit too. Now, you want to take some of the butter or cooking oil and heat that in the pan with a healthy helping of the spice mix. I think mine is like paprika, garlic powder, onion powder, and like a little bit of chili for fun. When it starts to sizzle a bit, add about half the garlic and mix it around, cooking it just a little bit before putting it into a cup and replenishing the oil in the pan. The old world version of this also had a way of like heating the potatoes to soften them before tossing them in, but microwaves are hard to come by now, and if I'm being really honest, I'm afraid to use the one jailbreak rigged up here. So, we're just going to say fuck it, we ball, and toss the potatoes in the oil, cook them for just a little longer time than they used to in the old world. And while I do that, I'll get another update out of the way. I had a lovely chat with the Chopper clan the other day about the newest additions to their farming outpost just near Sparrow Lake. Tobias confirmed that their animals have successfully been able to produce some babies that are free of any mutations, which is a pretty good sign if you ask me. If I recall, that lake has been pretty clear of any rads, so hopefully they can keep all the critters that way, and their farm can become a steady source for the surrounding region. Of course, it is going to be a while before they have much in the way for trading, but I'll be sure to keep in touch and help get the word out when they're ready. Alright, so these potatoes are cooking up very nicely, so it's about time to add all the green to the mix. Depending on what greens you're able to get, you want to toss them in gradually. Stuff like Brussels sprouts should go in first since there's more to them for cooking. Leafy stuff like spinach or kale goes in after a bit more time since they take a lot less to cook through fully. And don't forget to add spices whenever you put something else in the mix so that they all get a bit of that flavor. Once you get all the veggies in, you'll toss the rest of the garlic and that oiled up garlic and spice stuff back in as well so it can flavor everything a bit more too. If you happen to be a meat eater and are cooking this up for others who eat meat, I would suggest that this is probably the point to start cooking up that in another pan to add to the mix when it's all done. Or, whatever you can cook on. But, see, I'm not doing that tonight, so I won't be elaborating on how to do that for you. Maybe if I do another broadcast like this, I'll go through the ins and outs of cooking meat in the wastes. With what's here, you want to mix it and toss it until everything is as fully cooked as you can get it. Leafy stuff should be soft unless you like it to have some crispy burnt bits, in which case cook it till you have that. The potatoes should hopefully be kind of crispy outside and ideally soft inside, although I rarely ever have mine turn out like that without risking burning everything else. While I finish up this a bit, I do have one more update. This one going out to mostly couriers, but could be for any mercs, hunters, wastelanders finding jobs at the bounty boards. I guess it's kind of a warning. Based on previous experience and very recent experience, please, everyone, be cautious with any notes written either in rhyme or calling for small groups for very ambiguous jobs. These are quickly showing themselves to be traps orchestrated by someone calling themselves the Games Master. Regrettably, I think I might have put out a call a while back that had been looking for people, and it turns out they ended up victims in some twisted games they've been playing with people as the pieces. Just use caution and make sure the jobs you're picking up have some details on them, and aren't just looking for people with no real indication of what for. Okay. Anyways, Wasteland, I gotta serve this up now and see who all is actually in the bunker for this. Hopefully you're able to make this for yourself sometime. If you do, drop me a note at the Black Bounty Board. Someone there is sure to get the message to me or get you a channel to call me here. This has been Grimm Grinner on all channels. Bone apple teeth, and we'll see you in the wastes. Soup's on. Mess Hall 1 if anyone's hungry. Welcome to The Waste is a Wasteland podcast brought to you by Edward Grimm Grinner Hutchinson, but made possible by Wastelanders like you. If you'd like to support the show in a fun way or get some merch, check me out on Patreon or on Etsy. The links to both of those, as well as all my social media, can be found at linktree.com/welcome to the wastes. See you in the wastes.